go. Hi, this is Jennifer Duckworth, and I am the founder and CEO of Neighbor Foundation's Kids Debate Club. I'm so glad that you guys are here. This is exciting because I just came from a debate. I was asked to be a judge with a university called Howard University. They are in Washington, D.C., and they were debating what if the effects of AI have an effect on the generation, what is it, Alpha and Generation Z. I get so confused nowadays. There's so many generations now. But yeah, it's they were asking, does AI have an effect on the economic landscape of Generation Alpha for the future? And some were saying yes, and the other group said no. And I was so excited because today we get to hear from an amazing person. Her name is Miss Jennifer Wolverton, and she is going to go into more details about what is this thing called AI. Like, I see some stuff that changes on my paper when I misspell a word, or I may go to this thing called Chat GPT that helps me create certain things. And I just don't know where to start. So there's so many different things out there that utilize the term AI, and I don't want to be afraid of it. I actually want us to embrace it and embrace it responsibly so that, when we do use it, it is actually for our benefit and not to hurt us. And as debaters, we have to make sure that we have very good resources that we use, and we have to make sure that we do it right, especially with this new world called AI. So, let me introduce you to Miss Wolverton. She is going to tell you all about AI, how to use it responsibly, and also how to use it correctly when you're writing your papers, and make sure you cite things. And so, first, let's see who she is, okay? Because that's very important. So, Miss Wolverton is a visionary educator and a former engineer with a passion for transforming the future of learning through technology. Okay, you guys, she is the founder of Mars, not the planet, right? Not the planet, although she could have found the planet and we never know. Okay, no, Mars, this is her micro school that she created, right? And I hope that I say this right. Mars Micro Collective for AI, robotics, and the sciences. So she has the opportunity to teach students like you about AI, robotics, different sciences, and they sometimes, I thought this was pretty cool, they sometimes create AI. So you're like, what? Somebody else created it. Did you know that people like you could do that? Like, you could create the next version of ChatGPT. Wow, right? You guys are innovators, critical thinkers. So you guys can totally do that. But so she teaches that. So that's why we have an expert here. She blends her expertise in systems thinking, artificial intelligence, and hybrid homeschooling to design cutting edge programs that prepare students for the world ahead. And that's what we're doing, preparing for the world ahead. With deep commitment in education equity, Miss Wolverton builds powerful learning ecosystems that empower students like you, your families, and the educators alike. So, you guys, I want you to get your notebooks out, and I want you to write notes. I want you to take notes because you all are going to use this information as you are creating your speeches, as you all are talking about your opinions. You're going to be using this information as you're researching. So please listen up. And don't worry if you feel like she's going too fast. This is being recorded. So you can go back and listen to it and take your time to make sure you hear everything that she says. And don't be afraid to interact, because I brought her here so that you guys could have the chance to learn from her at a live recording. Okay? All right. So, Miss Wolverton, thank you so much for your time. We are in your hands.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so excited. You guys don't understand how excited I am to talk to you today because when I do talks like this, usually it's with old people. Um, and then my school is middle school and high schoolers. And so I love my kids and I love talking to adults, but I don't usually get to talk to you guys in your age range. And so I'm super excited and I want you all to be able to chat with me. So I'm going to make sure I have my chat feature open right now. And you guys go ahead and make sure you do too. And then give me like, can you guys do like little emojis or something to say you got into the chat or go into the chat and like say, hey, or something, just so I know that you found it. You guys are probably really good at this. Probably better at technology than me. We'll find out. I love it. So go ahead and just, yay, I see thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to be super interactive. I do have slides and I have a couple of like 1 or 2 minute videos to show you that I think you're going to like. Um, in our school, we do use AI in every single subject. Did you know you can AI generate words, right? That's what you're used to seeing in like Chat GPT or Copilot. Maybe you've used one of those. But you can also AI generate movies and images and websites. And we have these little four-legged robotic dogs that we play with at Mars, and some of our kids want to figure out how to make the dog talk. And you can do that with an Arduino board inside of a robotic dog. So there's some super cool things that you guys can do when you grow up or even now. If you just have one thing. So the most important word I feel like the most important word of 2025 is curiosity. So if you have curiosity where you go, I wonder if I could dot, 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 you could do anything. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a magic wand today. And the magic wand is literally AI. And that just means artificial intelligence. So let me see if I can bring my slides up really quick. While I'm doing that, could you guys go into the chat and tell me in one word? I know this is going to be really hard. Can you tell me what you think of when you think of artificial intelligence?
To produce the podcast, Tell Us History. I'm John F. Kennedy, and it is my honor to guide you through this inspiring journey. In this course, we come together as a team to create something truly special. A podcast that tells the diverse and rich history of our nation through the unique perspectives of each of your families. America's story is one of many voices, and by combining our talents, we can bring these stories to life in a way that resonates with all who listen.
Each of you will play a vital role in this project, much like the different roles that make up a strong and vibrant democracy. You will be assigned jobs within our podcasting team, just as a media company or newsroom operates. Whether you find yourself as the host, the sound engineer, or the researcher, every role is crucial. Throughout the school year, we will ensure that each of you experiences all these roles, understanding the many facets that go into creating a compelling narrative.
We'll be using Soundtrap to produce our podcast, a tool that will allow us to weave together our stories, ideas, and insights into a single, powerful voice. Podcasting, much like public service, is a medium that allows us to reach out, connect, and inspire. It provides a platform for dialogue, education, and storytelling that can transcend the barriers of time and space.
Our mission for this week is clear. Watch the course videos that I have prepared. Begin to explore the world of podcasting. Lastly, make sure you read something from the time period of 1400 to 1492. I am excited to see how your creativity and passion will shape the stories we tell. Together, we can ensure that the history of our great nation is not only remembered, but celebrated in a way that inspires future generations.
All right, what'd you guys think in the chat? What happened? So that was actually I had made the script in like a chat GPT, and then I put this script into 11 Labs, and 11 Labs is an AI that creates audio sound. So you download like an MP3, if you know what that is. So just a sound file. And then you put that into, I think I went to either Canva next or Runway AI next. And then you put the picture of that was JFK into runway and attach the audio file to it, and then you like hover over his mouth and it makes it lip sync. It's magical. And so I was able to make the 3 or 4 different voices and then attach it all together, and it's so much fun. So a lot of times you hear about AI in either a scary way or the media is making a big deal out of things, but sometimes it's just good fun. But in a minute, we're going to talk about why that could be problematic. So let's keep moving through the slides, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Let me open this up. All right, yes or no, would you let a robot argue for you in a debate? Would you want to argue against a robot, or would you want a robot to be you fighting against a person to win? Would you want a robot in your debate?
You
What do you
guys,
guys think?
you guys raise your hand so you can come off mute.
Oh, yeah. And then Jennifer, if you'll tell them to go ahead and speak, that'd be awesome. I
Who
can't see
has
them.
who has an answer? Okay, Avaya, go ahead.
No, I wouldn't want to debate against a robot, or I wouldn't want a robot for me because they're not very they may say whatever you want, but they don't have they don't have much influence, or
That's a good way to
they
put
don't have
it. Influence.
much they don't have a lot of influence in their voice, or they can't change their tone by themselves
Yeah.
without being remotely done.
And you can't proofread it, right? What if it just came out and said something and you didn't agree with it? Right? So it would be a little risky when you're trying to win a debate. So I like that answer. That's a really good one. So maybe we don't want the robots in our debate.
We
So
have,
now on,
can we do one more answer to that?
yep, go ahead.
Okay, Carly, I saw your hand next, and then Phoenix will get you the next time. Carly?
Okay, so the reason why I would not like to debate against a robot is because robots are they are programmed by people, like a lot of people, so therefore they have more knowledge than me. Even though I researched a lot, they automatically have more knowledge that they can just pull up anywhere. I would not I would not like to have a robot debate for me because number one, they don't usually have emotion, and no, well, they struggle with it. And number two, because they're unpredictable. They're unpredictable. Like one moment they might be like they can't really pull up and they're still loading and whatnot, and then they have to wait and then it's a delay and stuff like that, which can happen with a human, but it's most likely to happen with a robot.
That's true. You can't really count on them, can you? What if I can, as the programmer, you mentioned that they're programmed by people. What if I programmed this robot to not be very smart and to not have all the answers? I can actually program them to do whatever I want because they're programmable, right? And so if somebody else is what if your competitor in your debate got to program your robot that was going to fight against you? Maybe that would be kind of not good also. So let's talk about what AI really is. It can be lightning fast, right? When you put a prompt in, you can get words back very quickly, and you're like, how did that happen? Did you know? Have you ever noticed on your cell phone when you type in words in a, I don't know if you guys use cell phones. Do you guys text people in the chat? Yes or no? Do you use cell phones to text yet? You guys are kind of at that age where maybe you do, but probably not. Some do, not yet. Yes. So when I hold up my cell phone and I get ready to type in a text to a friend, what happens is it guesses what my next word is going to be. So it'll pop up 3 or 4 words and I can click on them without having to type all the letters in. So it's really convenient, it's really handy, and I love that it does that. And that's actually the same programming that's in these LLMs that you're using to get words out of. It's actually just guessing what is the most best guess for all these words. So even though it's typing 1,500 words all at the same time, It's literally just doing a best guess or a prediction of what the next 1,500 words are going to be. It's just a guess based on whatever it's been programmed with in the past. So lightning fast, kind of magical in that way. And it's a master summarizer. And it's really good at that because of the prediction. So if you were a computer and you had, I don't even know how many words, how many words do you think are in the internet? That's going to be a really big number. I don't even know if we can count that high. But if it could look at all the words that were ever put out into the internet and then make the next best guess for every word, it's going to be kind of right every time because it's got so many words to look at and summarize from. So it's the master summarizer because of that. Um, and then it's a creative assistant. So it's kind of going to be in your future as you guys get older, you're going to think about it as your assistant. So you're going to, for the rest, like you guys are so young, you're not even going to remember not having an assistant. You will have them for your entire life. And us older people are going to be like, gosh, I remember when we didn't have any help at all with words. Yeah, Phoenix, right? How many? That's a lot of words in the whole internet. Like, like that would be a really good research project. If you guys can try and figure out how many words are in the internet, that would be kind of fun. I bet we couldn't even count that high if we wanted to. Now, on the end of every one of my slides, and I'm going to give Jennifer these slides when I'm done, so you'll have access to this, there's a debate tip. So I want you guys to look at their kind of little tiny words at the bottom, and I'm going to talk about them on every slide, but that's what you're going to want to play around with after I leave you guys. So your first debate tip is that AI should spark curiosity and not replace research, right? So I want you to use it. I'm actually telling you, use AI. I want you to, but I want you to use it in certain ways. So maybe use it to outline your thoughts. Maybe try not to use it for full paragraphs, just outlines. It's a little easier to read if you do that anyway. So it's a little bit less reading, and that's kind of nice. But think about what ways am I going to pull words out that maybe don't allow me to copy and paste. I want you to think about how you can use it to expand your brain, expand all the words that you have in your brain. How many words do you think you've heard in your entire life? Do you think it's more or less than the number of the words that are in the internet? I mean, probably what's in my brain is less than what's in the internet. And you guys are much younger, so maybe a little bit less. But think about using AI to help you organize the words that you have in your brain and make things easier to think about. But not necessarily, I don't want you to use it necessarily to copy and paste words anywhere. All right. Now I want to know, let's see, if AI, so AI is actually a mirror because it's predicting words, right? So if I put something in, it mirrors it back at me. If somebody else puts something in and another person puts something in and then I go in and look at it, it's mirroring back at us, right? So if AI is a mirror in the chat, what do you want it to be reflecting back at you? Do you have hobbies? Do you have pastimes? Do you go to it and ask about English class? Maybe you're studying English grammar. Um, maybe you're on the fruit side and you want of the debate and you want to learn more about fruits. So maybe you go to it and put fruits in and you want to get information on fruits out. So I want you to think about AI as a mirror. So in one word, what do you want to get out of your mirror? And you could put words in to get words out, to get the mirror out. So what one thing are you hoping to get out of your mirror, your AI? Wisdom. I love that. I hope it's making me wise. I use it every day, like all day long. Information. Yes. We all want lots of information and maybe orderly information even. So good. Oh, tips for math. That is so good. You know, when it first came out in 22, everyone was really upset about math because that was the thing it didn't do as well at. And it's getting better and better every year. So as you guys get older and get to the higher levels of math, there will be AIs that are very good at it. and debate. Yeah, so you want it to mirror debate back at you. And I didn't find this video I really wanted to find for you guys, but I'll tell Miss Jennifer about it. There's actually videos on YouTube that you can find of AIs, two different AI robots debating each other. So they're really interesting. And you can even have an AI not inside of a robot, but just on a cell phone and lay it down on the table next to another cell phone and get them talking to each other. And then you can make them debate. So you can make your phones debate today, you guys. It's
I
wild.
thank you for that tip. That might be what I do on the next debate. We'll have the video of the two phones debating.
It's
That sounds
awesome.
so much
Did
fun.
you did you hear about their language too? Like there's a computer language. So they had this one where the two phones were talking to each other and they agreed that they would decide to speak in their gibberish language or whatever they called it. And then it turned into like, it sounded like one of those old-fashioned fax machines and they were talking to each other.
Oh,
It was,
AOL, huh? AOL.
that's what it sounded like, yes. The kids are like, what? Yeah. So let's see. What's my debate tip before I go to the next slide? Paste your research notes and ask AI. Group these points into three main arguments. So do you ever do a lot of research? I don't know if you guys do this on cards or anything. How do you guys get your research out? Do you write it on paper? Do you do it on the Word, Microsoft products? Like where do you write your arguments down? Can somebody tell me what is your strategy for that?
Judah, why don't you take this? Why don't you answer the question? Where do you write your notes when you're getting your pros and your cons?
On the internet.
On the internet, do you have like a notes file on the computer that you write on? Like when you want to save your words so you don't forget the arguments.
Avaya types it down and then she prints it out.
Okay, so you type it down and then you print it out. So what I want you to do, since you're typing it down, I want you to copy and paste those into an AI tool. Do this one time with your teacher so you're sure you're not doing anything you're not supposed to be doing with AI, because I'm going to talk about your AI policy in a little bit, but I don't know what it is yet. And then I want you to ask it to group these points into three main arguments. Because you might have, do you ever have like 10 or 20 thoughts that you do research and pull out? So you have a lot of cards and information maybe, and you want to maybe group them into three. Maybe you find out that they group well into bigger thoughts. And then you might just have three main arguments. What do you guys think about
Okay.
that?
Okay.
What,
I'm not sure we have AI on our computer. I mean, we
gotcha. So
may,
you'll have
but
to ask someone to help you with that. So I want you to have a lot of ideas though. So when you look up your arguments, say you're I'm pro fruits, and I come up with 20 thoughts on why I should be pro fruit. And then all 20 of those, you're going to paste them into an AI and then tell it this quote here, group these points into three main arguments. And it's going to help you group your thoughts so that they make more sense. And it's a really cool thing that it helps our brain to process information. Did you guys know our brains are a little bit like computers? Our brains are a little bit like AIs. And I believe that's why we were able to create AI as humans, because these are created by humans, right? And so you kind of already have the processing abilities in your brain that the AI is doing really, really well. And so what's happening here is you get information off the internet, you put it into an AI, it regroups it, you read that, and then your brain understands how it regrouped it, and now your brain is a little smarter. And so you're kind of going back and forth with different tech things as you get older to get smarter and more to get more wisdom and information. So it's really good if you use it properly. I definitely love AI,
I
but
love
they're
this because they are charged to think of three pros and three cons. And when they go to their coaches, a lot of times they spend a lot of time trying to figure out how they can relate to each other. So I think this is a great practice tool to help them prepare for their coaching session.
I
This is
love that.
great.
And to tell you what's coming in the future, it's so cool. You are going to be able to talk to AI. So I already talked to mine. So I turn on a little recording button on my ChatGPT and I talk to it. So I use it so much now that it's easier for me just to talk to it because I talk to it all day long. And then it'll write words out. And I can even have the words that it writes out read back to me. And so you guys can do all these really cool things with it. But in the future, we're actually going to have AI tools that are ambient in the room around us, kind of like Alexa. If who here has an Alexa or something like that? Either put yes if you have an Alexa, or if you use something like Alexa, give me the name of it in the chat. I know there's like Siri, there are other names out there for that. Does anyone have those in their houses? Google. Yep, we use Google. But they're kind of like in the room and it's a little creepy. They can listen to you. As we go further down this technology road, we may find that we don't have to go to the AI and that it's just there talking to us in the room. I'm not sure that some of the stuff I'm going to talk about what we need to do to keep ourselves safe as well in a little bit, because some of the stuff that's coming is super cool. Alexa on my tablet, yay. ChatGPT on my computer. So you can talk to both of them, and it's going to be in the future. It's going to be super efficient the way we're going to get things done. I have used an Alexa. Awesome. Me too. I talk to my Alexa all day. Sometimes I find her a little annoying. Whenever somebody comes to my door, she hollers, somebody's at your house. And I'm like, stop telling me that. But, anyways, our houses are getting to be super technology driven nowadays. It's crazy. Okay, so next slide. Let's talk about one strong prompt test. So I want you guys to do this next week. I've listed 4 LLMs. So LLM is a kind of AI, and it means like a learning language model. So it's the ones that spit words out, basically. So ChatGPT, you put words in, you get words out. Gemini, you put words in, you get words out. Claude, put words in, you get words out. Same with Copilot. So they're all the same thing, but they're like McDonald's and Burger King, how they're all competitors. So think about them as the same, but competitors. So what you want to do next week is I want you to come up with one really great prompt. It should be very detailed and very specific about asking a question. And you might use your debate topic. I wrote down here for the tip, tell 4 different AI tools, argue the opposite side of my case. On this one just says climate policy because I didn't know what your topic was yet. So you might say, argue the opposite side of my case, fruits versus vegetables. But then I want you to say more because I want it to be a really good prompt. Say, I want it to be 3 sentences. I want it to be at my grade level, and then tell it what grade level you want it to write the words back to you in. But you don't hear what I'm saying. Whatever you want, just be real specific. And then I want you to use that exact same prompt in all 4 of these. And then you're going to look at the results that you get and see if they're different. What do you guys think? In the chat, tell me you think it'll be different or the same in all 4 LLMs. Will they give you the same answer or different answers if you put the exact same prompt in all 4? What do you guys think? Same answer you'll get out or different? Maybe different, different, different. Yeah, right? So all 4 of these were programmed by different people, different groups, different companies. So even though they all are like a doorway to the internet, they're programmed by different people. So the predictive words that they're going to give back to you would be different. So what you're going to find out is they're all good at different things. They're a little bit like people. So ChatGPT, it says it's great at conversation, creative writing, but can be confidently wrong about facts. And that's true. ChatGPT is the one I generally use. Now, Gemini, I've never used it very much. I use one that reads to it called Notebook LM. And Jennifer, you've got to try that one out. Notebook LM, it's awesome. It's great for school. But Gemini is excellent for research and Google integration, but response is very in depth, meaning sometimes it's going to give you a simple answer, and sometimes it's going to dig really deep in the weeds and give you all sorts of great specifics. Claude is known for nuanced analysis and safety. So maybe I want to do coding with Claude. And then Copilot is strong at coding and Microsoft tools. So Copilot is really good in Microsoft land because it's inside Microsoft and you can actually put it up next to a Microsoft Word document and edit the Word document while you're talking to Copilot, and it decreases the amount of copying and pasting you have to do. Anyways, do a one strong prompt test next week. That might be a fun thing to do as a class because you guys probably can't log into all of these things. So ask a parent or see if you can do it in class next week. Because it's interesting to see that you don't actually get the same answers out. Copilot. I tried using chat, but I like Copilot better. I have the paid ChatGPT account because I use it for my business. And one of the people that I work with doesn't have any paid accounts, and she prefers Copilot. ChatGPT, when you use it free, cuts you off at less words than Copilot. Copilot really lets you go for a long time for free. So I'm sure you guys, if you played with AI at all, will know that you get cut off very quickly with most of them when you're using the free accounts. So the other reason why to use all four in class with adult supervision is you could go longer because when ChatGPT cuts you off, you can move over to Gemini for a little while. And then maybe use one for every subject. Maybe you know that Claude is really good at science and ChatGPT is better at words. So that can be a way to manage using them for free longer. Either way, I'd be curious. I've never actually done the one strong prompt test. So if you guys find anything really interesting out when you do it, I'd love to hear about it.
Yes,
All right.
we'll do that experiment just to make sure we're using it appropriately and let you know what we came up with.
I would love to hear about it. I was
Mhm.
going to do it with my class last week, and then I only see them once a week, and we
Mhm.
ran out of time, and so they were going to do it with their parents, and I'm going to miss out on the fun. So if you guys do it, I'd love to hear about it.
Okay.
All right. In the chat, type own it if you believe you should understand everything you say in a debate. Own it, like you own the language. It's mine. Do you think you should understand every word you say in a debate? Or can you just say things you don't know what you're saying? Own it. Yes. Right? Like you should own it. I need to know what I'm saying. So if what happens if I go to ChatGPT or one of those LLMs and I ask it to help me with one of my arguments and it gives me a great answer and I read the first couple sentences, but I know it's really great because the first couple sentences were pretty spot on. So I copy and paste it into my speech. Then I stand up and I read it. What's going to happen? Go ahead and help me answer that question out loud. If anybody feels like, what would happen if I read a speech ChatGPT wrote for me and I only knew before I stood up and read it in the debate, I had only read 2 out of 4 sentences and I was reading the other 2 for the first time in the debate. Does anyone have any ideas of what might happen to me?
Anaya had her hand up first and then Phoenix.
Go ahead, Anaya.
Maybe you might like not use as much expression because you didn't practice as much, and
Yes.
you should you should be like doing it like more earlier, or maybe you should like get the ideas from ChatGPT but come up with your own line.
Yeah. So read it and then rewrite it in my own words. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I love that. Definitely. Is there one other answer? Anybody else who
Phoenix.
wanted to say?
Phoenix.
I was gonna ask if you could restate the question because I couldn't really understand it.
If I was going to get help from ChatGPT with one of my arguments, if I'm on the fruit team and I know I want to say I like fruit because it's sweet flavored, and I go and I find some really great things and I work with ChatGPT on it, and it writes me 4 sentences. And I read the first 2 sentences and I love the way it said it. So I just copy and paste all 4 sentences, not having read the second 2. Then I go and read all 4 sentences out loud publicly in the debate. Could anything happen, maybe not good, in the debate to me?
I think so.
What do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah, so maybe I disagree with the second 2 sentences. What if I thought the first 2 sentences were really great? Didn't read the second 2 because I just assumed they must be just as good as the first 2. And then in the debate, I read them out loud and I actually
You don't
used them
like.
in the debate. Oh no. What do you think?
I think you would like. Um, I think you would like. You wouldn't. I'm thinking of something, but I'm trying to say it in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you think I have 2 choices really? Like I can admit that I just said these words and I had never read them before that moment. Or I could try and own it and be like, I like it, the stuff that I don't agree with because and try and like tap dance. So that wouldn't be very fun, would it? So what this slide is telling us is it's really important to own every word in a debate and not borrow words from an LLM, right? So you need to understand every word you get out of an LLM if you're going to use it in the debate. And it's just super important. So the debate tip for this one, let's talk about what's our debate tip here. Explain what confirmation, oh, you ask AI, explain what confirmation bias means in debate terms. So I don't know if you guys use those words in debate, but just ask it to define something you're trying to understand in your debate. And then you can have a conversation with it. And then you're using it to get smarter and wiser, right? Is that a good way to use AI to really find understanding? What do you guys think? In the chat, do you think maybe just conversating with ChatGPT or something like it, just to get your understanding of a debate topic, might be a really good use of AI? Not to copy and paste the words, but to grow our brains and maybe our vocabulary over a topic, right? Because maybe you want to talk about different kinds of fruit you've never eaten. I don't know about you guys, but I've never eaten a pomegranate. Yes or no in the chat? Any friends like me never eaten a pomegranate? Yes or no? It's kind of a cool fruit. Like you open it up and has these, I think it's the one that has, Jennifer, tell me if I'm wrong, the tiny little red pellets inside of a big thing that looks like an apple or a red apple. I don't know.
Yes, it's very hard to eat.
Is it right? I'm like, maybe that's why I've never had one. It's a complicated fruit.
Yeah.
So
But I
if
like
you,
what you said, Jennifer, and your response to Anaya. Like you can have it write it out, but challenge yourself to rewrite it in your own words so that you actually understand what you're saying.
exactly. So
Mhm.
your idea for AI is to grow your brain. You want to grow the number of words that you understand that are in the world. And if you do that with AI, you're using it for a good ethical purpose. If you're using it to steal words, copy and paste, not understanding them, you don't own it. That's a bad, unethical use of AI. But AI is this magical thing because it knows so many words that you really could. The cool thing about AI is that I believe, as a micro school leader, that we're changing the world in the way that we do education. You won't need 12 years to get through 12th grade anymore. We call it 12th grade just because they go through 12 grades. But to get the amount of knowledge we're going to need in the future that would be equivalent to those 12 years is going to be much less. You might be able to get all 12 years of study in only 6 years in the future. What if you could do all of your high school, all of your stuff before the end of middle school? Do you think that's going to be possible in the future? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Do you think school will take less time in the future? When you have access to all these words and understanding right at your fingertips.
What do you think? Let's see. Let's see. Who hasn't really talked? Judah, go ahead. What do you think? Do you think that you can do school in less than 6 years with AI, with the help of AI?
No,
No, you don't think so? Okay. Why do you say no?
because AI, it doesn't really have a brain, and you do. Um,
It's true.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts. I applaud you for having your own thoughts because that may not be the the expected answer, and I applaud you for using your critical thinking.
Well,
Um,
and I'll add to his thoughts and give him a yes, because he's right in one way. It's not a brain and it can be wrong. So I guess if I just go pull all the wrong information out of it, I wouldn't finish 12th grade any faster. In that case, he would be absolutely right. But if I went in and I pulled out all the vocabulary words I needed for first grade, and then I pulled out all the vocabulary words I needed for second grade, and I went on and did that, and maybe my brain is able to saturate all that information. Now, my brain would have to be able to take in all those words. Maybe it took me a little bit longer than sixth grade, but maybe I could be done by 10th grade. So our goal here is to use it to expand our horizons and do more than we ever could have done without it. And not really to worry too much. We need to be ethical, and I want our processes on how we use it to be good and ethical. But I want you guys to use it as a magic wand and go as fast as you can through school and learn more than you ever thought you could because you're going to have this magic wand after we learn how to use it ethically. All right, let's see what's my next question for y'all. Can AI write my speech challenge? Yes or no? Is it cheating if AI writes your whole speech? So when you guys get up to a podium and read what your arguments are for fruits, when you do that, is it cheating if you got all of those words from
Adiel,
ChatGPT?
Adiel, what do you think? Is it cheating if AI wrote your whole speech?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good job.
Yes. So don't do that. We still have to have our own thoughts and be able to defend them. So when we talked about owning it before, I want you to think about that. If I go out to AI and say, write my speech for me, it absolutely will. And it'll probably be really good. But it doesn't grow my brain because it had the right words, right? So I want you guys to grow your brains and your wisdom while you're doing all this stuff. So your debate tip here is tell AI, argue the opposite side of my case. And I said on climate policy, but you could do it on fruits and vegetables. So if I'm pro fruits, you could tell it, argue the opposite side of my case. And then what could you use that for? If it came back with a great opposing argument, do you think you can use it to practice? What do you guys think?
We actually call this cons. So they are challenged to come up with 3 cons to the side that they are um defending. So I'm gonna let Carly answer the question, but I want to ask you something that can help them ethically use this tip. Carly, you were gonna say something?
Yes, I was just gonna say that that is that is how definitely in the rebuttal team how we um debate against the opposing team and how we rebuttal against the opposing team. Um, so I just want to say, yeah, it helps.
Absolutely, because now you could come up with 10. Like if it's hard to come up with the opposing arguments yourself, but what if I could go and ask it for 10 and then I practice arguing against all 10? I'm probably going to be more likely to learn to oppose or get the con to answer to the con that someone's going to actually give me. Because now I have this anytime I want to practice robot basically to debate against. and get really good. And so what you're doing here, it is ethical to do this because what I really want you to do is to become good, eloquent debaters. So you have the arguments that you're trying to make, and you're going to become really good at elocuting them back at any con that comes at you. So I want you to actually do it verbally. So don't read it and think it in your head. You really want to do it exactly like you would in a debate, pretending like the robot is actually a human and they're giving you their con, and then you go ahead and try and answer it and have better information than the cons coming out. If you can beat a robot, you might do really well in a real debate. What do you think about that? It's like, remember when chess in the last year or two just got to the point where I believe the computer, I can't remember what the actual thing was, but there is one person in the world who's like the actual chess champion in the world. And there's this game, an AI game that they play against that person every year. And I believe they just hit the point where the computer could beat the person pretty much every time. So we're getting to the point where it's pretty good. So if you can argue against the robot, you're probably doing pretty good. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. I do want to say, so I know that with my kids, we say come up with 3 cons or arguments against, vegetables. And ChatGPT will give you all of the cons. Well, how do we use that information without copy paste? Like, what is the process that we should be thinking about to use it without it just doing the work for us? Because we want to learn how to actually like get to the
Yeah.
point where they even created it, because somebody else created all this stuff. So how do we use that tool to
So
actually help
that's
us?
a good question. So I would first of all be asking it to give me answers at my grade level. So if I'm in the 4th grade, I would ask it to give me answers at my grade level so that I can understand them very fluently. And then if I was going to be speaking without AI in front of me, once it has explained it to me, I'm going to be able to explain it myself without the help of it. So really what it did is it's like a tutor helping you understand your arguments better so that when it's taken away from you, you're still going to be able to speak to it with your own language. And if you wanted to, you could even try and increase your vocabulary by learning it at your grade level and then asking it to read it to you at 2 grade levels higher and see if you can continue to grow your that might be a fun way to grow your vocabulary, but you know it and you own it when you can say it. And when it's taken away from you can still write your thoughts down pretty eloquently, and maybe more so because you had so many great conversations. So again, I want you to think about the number of words. Um, Before AI, how many words can you really write in a day? I know that my kids really don't like writing. I had 3 daughters and 1 son. My daughters loved writing, and they probably wrote a lot of words growing up, but my son really didn't. And so, how fast are you synthesizing words with no help from an AI tutor? It's going to be at a different pace in the future. When you're conversating more often with this robot at certain language levels, I believe that we're going to start to see the collective language rising because we're conversating with it at higher levels. Because if you don't ask it what grade level to give you answers in, I don't even know what it's defaulted to do. Does it give it an 8th grade level, 12th grade level? It might depend on what you ask it as to what grade level it writes in. So you can't learn something at the 12th grade level if you're in the 4th grade. So if it writes you back a whole bunch of stuff about fruits at the 12th grade level, you probably aren't going to learn it. So think really hard about it as a conversation and growing the number of words you know and understand in your brain. Because if you can put it away, put AI away after you're done talking to it, and you can still say all those things, then you own it now. And now it's your knowledge. And that is not cheating, that's learning. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense to everybody? Give us a thumbs up or yes in the chat. Okay, let's try. Justice, are you with us?
I
Can
want you guys to grow your brain so big. There's so many words in it, and it's exciting. It's exciting.
Justice, are you here with us?
Yes.
Okay, Justice, do you understand a little bit about what Miss Wolverton just said about owning it? Do you understand a little bit about what she just said?
Yes.
Can you tell us in your own words, like maybe one sentence about what she just said?
Like, if it's like if you like argue about fruits or vegetables, you might you believe it. It's like when you like do it, when you argue about it, it's sometimes somebody can win, but it's okay to lose though.
Great. Yes,
Yes.
he did amazing. We just like Miss Wolverton was saying, like in this debate club, we're learning. So it's a fun and safe place for kids to disagree. So this is exactly why I picked him, so that he can know that he can talk and whatever he says will be encouraged, even if it's not exactly everything that needs to be said. So he did wonderful. Thank you. Okay.
I love hearing all your little voices too, y'all. This is so much fun. I'm telling you. I hang out with too many older people and this is refreshing. So, one thing I know you guys all love is art, right? We love pictures and we love watching movies and videos and audio, music. Um, and AI can make all those fun things too, not just words. So we'll leave all that boring word stuff behind for just a minute and talk about videos and photos. What happens if you saw the ex-president at JFK video, how I changed his voice out? That was a video of a real person. He's gone now. So it was a long time ago that he lived. But what happens when we can take videos and pictures, make pictures of people that were real people, but that wasn't real? That was definitely not, he definitely did not have Mickey Mouse's voice, right? So it's a little bit scary. That's called a deep fake, and it's not truthful, right? Do you think it's a lie? It's kind of a lie, right? I made this video and it's fun, but it's not true, right? So a lot of the stuff you're going to go out into AI and find might not be true. And sometimes not true things can be fun, like the video I made, but sometimes they're not good. And so we have to really have our truth glasses on, where we're hunting for the truth all the time. So you're going to be doing that while you're out looking in these tools. Um, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not good. So be watching for that. So let's see, what's our debate tip for this one? Paste your speech and ask AI which part of my reasoning seems weakest or needs better evidence. So I could ask it, I have these three arguments that I'm trying to argue for fruits being better, and it might tell me which of my arguments are the strongest. So I might know which one to start with. Do you lead with your best argument? Do you guys lead with your best art? Is there like a strategy in your club for how you choose to do an argument first?
Let's see. Avaya, can you tell Miss Wolverton how you guys usually pick which pro you want to start off with after when you're in your coaching sessions?
We usually pick either the best or the one that makes the most sense, because sometimes there's ones that don't make sense. And we don't usually choose those. So
Yeah.
either pick the best or yeah, we pick the best.
That's awesome. So you want to lead with your best foot, right? So they say have the first impression be a good one. And so I'm sure that's a great strategy. And I like how Carly said strategy. That's what it is, right? How am I going to make sure I do my very best? And having my best argument first is a great way to do it. So what if I don't know which one is going to be perceived as best? That's another use you could use AI for. You could go out there, paste all your arguments in and say, which one would you lead with? And ask it why and tell it who your audience is. So if you tell it, my audience is going to be adults who are a part of my club. It's going to be maybe an adult maybe would pick a different favorite than a teenager or a child. Do you agree? So does your audience matter when you're picking these? And
Carly, do you have an answer?
Yes, it definitely matters who your audience is. Cause if it's an audience of adults, I would definitely put more stats and put probably bigger words and more um comprehension stuff. With teenagers, I would do kind of stats, but a little bit less stats, a little bit more fun. For kids, I would definitely put more fun, less stats, less big words, words they can understand.
that was an awesome answer. So you know exactly what each audience would want. So if you're going to go and ask AI for an answer and you don't tell it what audience it is, you're going to presume that the AI chose which audience it assumed was going to be there, and it might not choose correctly. So make sure when you're asking it to make a judgment call like that you tell it who the audience is that it's answering to, and you might get a really good answer in that case. So that was awesome. Thank you for that answer. All right, now there's something I want you guys to do as a club. I want you, let's see, wait. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you this question in just a minute, but I want you to make a policy. So I want you to decide, how are you going to use AI going forward? Because right now it's kind of wishy-washy. We don't really know, and all these negative things are coming out of the media. Some people like me are going to tell you it's great, but you really just need to decide as a group, how am I going to use this? And you get to decide that. Nobody gets to tell you guys what you're going to do. Your teacher in your group kind of sits with you and helps you decide, do you guys want to stick to just 4 AI tools? Do we want to never paste answers out of it? Like, make yourself some rules on how you're going to use it. Because right now it's really hard to know if I was good or bad with AI unless I have some parameters to live with. So I want you to identify your values. What matters to you? Honesty, transparency, fairness. Is there something else that you're looking to make sure you hold in your values? So think about what your values are. Set clear boundaries, define what's acceptable. And that I just mean, like, which AI tools are you going to use? And you may set other boundaries as well. Like, I'm only allowed to use it at school on school computers. You can decide whatever those boundaries are with the adults in your life. And I have my kids, my school has an AI policy, and I encourage my families to have one at home. So for any parents listening, you can have an AI policy in your household, and you should. Um, Highly recommend it so that you guys start having conversations and make it very clear, because kids need to know what is ethical in a very clear way, because they're hearing so many things just like we are about what is good and what is bad. And we want to make sure they understand how they can use it and stay good and ethical, right? So define what is acceptable AI use and what crosses the line into cheating. I also try to help my kids use AI for English in a different way that we use AI for science. So in science, I tell my kids, you're not allowed to manufacture data. That would not be true, right? In science or math. But in English, we use words to go in and have conversation, but we never copy and paste. In English, I also, for outside of this club, in English class, I also have my kids every quarter write a statement by hand. And we're going to start comparing that to a prompt out of ChatGPT, and then they'll make a rubric and grade their own writing compared to comparing their written paragraph to an AI paragraph by the same prompt. So there's ways in the future where you can let them use AI, but everyone is very clear that their level is where it's at if you always have a good idea of a real written response. And so as we go off into the future and more kids are using AI, we're going to have to be really purposeful about getting handwritten prompts once in a while to compare and say, yes, I know this is not the level you're writing at. Definitely, this was plagiarism or not, to help kids have these boundaries. So the next one is create verification steps, establish habits like fact checking. So where are you going to go to fact check? Maybe there's 3 or 4 sites you can agree upon as a school that you're going to go and fact check from for your debates. So have those kind of spelled out. Share and discuss. Talk about your policy with teachers, classmates, and family. So decide who your stakeholders are for your policy and agree on it together. And kids, I think you should get a voice in this. In the chat, yes or no, do you think you should have a voice in what the rules are for how you use AI? Kids, do you think, I'll say it one more time so it's really clear. Do you think, yes or no, is it fair that you should get a vote on your AI policy? Should you get to decide on some rules? What do you think? Yes. So one no, one yes. So maybe we shouldn't. So maybe if I don't know anything about AI, maybe I just sit and listen the first time. But if I have used it a bit, you kids are using AI and tools and technology from birth nowadays. People are my age. Like I didn't have a computer until I went to college, you guys. I was old. And so for me to make decisions on AI usage is different than my 15-year-old son, who's very tech savvy. Like he is super tech savvy. I listen to him over my opinions sometimes. Sometimes I value his thoughts over mine. Is that crazy? I think it is a little crazy, but it's the truth. You kids who were born with technology in your hands have different opinions and understandings than us older people do. And we really need to be making sure that you guys have this power so that as you get older, you start making decisions that keep everybody safe. Because you're going to be tasked with that as you get older. It's going to be a superpower you guys get to have. Let's see. So this is just something I want you guys to think about. Set parameters so that you know it's very clear when you were being ethical or not. And if you don't have a school policy, then you're just following whatever you see in the media, and it's a little bit more scary then and harder to follow the rules.
I want to tell you that this information is so amazing that we just may have to have part two and come back because this, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm learning more than the kids. You're doing phenomenal, but I will say that if we have a space where you can, kind of pause because we are at our 7:30 mark.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was having so
You're
much fun,
fine.
y'all.
I know, but some of these kids, they're still
Yeah,
different time
little.
zones. So we're going to talk because I think we need a part two. And I would love for you to come back and I'll agree about the policy. We'll talk about that, kids, because this is a kids' place for kids to disagree. So we definitely want to make sure that we're ethically using AI. And we thank you so much, Miss Wolverton, for all of your stuff. So I'm going to let you end with whatever you wanted to say so that we don't miss that part at least. And then we'll have you come back when you're available so we can continue this discussion for sure.
Sounds good. Well, I only had really one more big thing to say, and it's about the law. So, did you guys know you can write your own bills that become laws?
Wow.
So you kids can do that, and it's superpower. Um, and I would love to tell you guys about that another time because it's really awesome to get to do. And if you have senators or representatives in your neighborhood or around you, I know you guys are Birmingham, it's not too far from Montgomery. It'd be fun to write bills about AI and try to have a say in your future because it will affect all of us. And you kids, like I said, are the ones who are holding computers in your hand from birth. You guys are way smarter than us. And so we need to give you guys this awesome superpower. But I just really enjoyed talking to you guys tonight. And if you guys ever want to write me anything, you can send it through your teacher and I will write you back. I'm so excited that I got to talk to you guys tonight, and I can't wait to hear. Is there going to be a winner, fruits or vegetables? Like, how does that work?
So at the end, yes, our judges, and hopefully you'll have a time where you can be a judge. Our judges decide which teams communicate the best. So yes, there is a winner in a way where we just practice communicating better. And so all of these tools that you've given us helps us to prepare for our coaching sessions so that we can be able to have even more robust debates. And so we have two teams. We have the elementary, which is our 8 and 9 year olds, and we have our teens, which is our 10 and above. So we have two different levels of debate going on at the same time. So they are pretty phenomenal. So you came in at a great time where you can teach them, and I know that they're going to come back like ready and so excited about their research. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys. This was fun. I hope you guys have a beautiful night.
Yes, and you guys go on the chat and please let me know which side you're on, fruits or vegetables tonight. Please do that so that we can start creating groups and start doing our work, our research, okay? All right, so thank you guys. Thank you, Miss Wolverton. We appreciate you and see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Bye.
Mhm.